Evan's not there yet, and I think that was a big problem. I saw that Swaggy D in the YouTube comments say they got out toughed. I do kind of agree with that. Like the physicality was an issue for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the biggest reason for that was Mitchell Robinson. So let's maybe jump into the tape here and talk about Mitchell Robinson. I just loved everything that Mitchell Robinson did in this series. You're going to see here, this is just Mitch coming over from the weak side. I thought in the first quarter, he did such a great job of setting the tone with physicality and with rim protection. So here, you're going to see him just peel off of Jared Allen, weak side block, awesome block, sets the tone to run the transition play down the court the next possession. Here, you're going to see Darius Garland drive. He comes up, he does contest the Darius Garland, and then it's the second jump here that is so impressive from Mitchell Robinson. He's able to get back to Jared Allen, and Jared Allen takes this bullshit little floater thing, and Mitch just absolutely swats the shit out of him. I mean, again, like he just made Jared Allen like look small at times in this series. He did. From a physicality perspective, from a length perspective, Jared Allen, I think, has longer arms, but it certainly didn't seem like it throughout the course of the series. And for what it's worth, again, I don't think it was like a only toughness thing with Jared Allen. I think it was he didn't really know where to go at the end of this series because it felt like they were trying to change what his responsibilities were a lot of the time. And it just didn't really work. Here, you're going to see just a terrific defensive possession in space for Mitchell Robinson. Look at him sliding his feet. He's active. He's mobile. He's going to come back. The screen gets flipped. He's cutting off Darius Garland, cutting off every single possible angle. And then here you're going to see a Chetty Osman miss and, ball, I think, like hit the top of the backboard. So they called it out of bounds. It's just really, really impressive what Mitch was able to do in space in this series as a rim protector in this series. And then we're going to come down here, and this is in the fourth quarter after everything had come down. And he closes it out with the thing that he has done best throughout the entirety of this series, and that is offensive rebound. Mitchell Robinson had 18 rebounds in this game, 11 of them on the offensive end. And this is still a game, as we've seen. This is a 10-minute lead or 10-point lead with 4 minutes left in this game. The Knicks need to run real solid offense here. And what you're going to see here is they come up, they set like a couple of ghost screen actions and quickly ends up just all of the screens and going all the way to the rim. And Mitchell Robinson is just going to fly. Jared Allen here is in like kind of a weird position where he is the backside defender that has to be responsible for blocking out here. And if you'll notice, Josh Hart is in the corner and he decides to peel off of Mitch and try to block out Josh Hart because he sees Josh crashing for the glass. And Josh Hart is a great rebounder. The problem is that he just misjudged. There was no way he was ever going to get to Josh Hart. This has to be a block out on Mitchell Robinson from Jared Allen. Mitchell Robinson is the guy that's 7 foot tall. He goes to the corner and just completely vacates Mitchell Robinson. That is a poor decision from Jared Allen there again. Mitchell Robinson finishes. Again, I believe this is the next possession down the court. You're going to get two on the ball and a ball screen. Then RJ is going to drive. He's going to miss this little floater. And again, nobody gets a body on Mitchell Robinson. Nobody gets a body on Mitchell Robinson. And if you don't get a body on him, the ball is going right back up to the rim. And look, again, this is one where because they blitzed the ball, they were at a deficit in terms of bodies to try and get someone on Mitchell Robinson. So they didn't really have a chance. But that's the problem with putting two on the ball in this circumstance. And here you're just going to see a missed shot. And this is just him beasting on the backboard here against, I believe, a smaller defender. You really need Evan Mobley to probably come across and get this rebound, but instead Mitchell Robinson tips it out to himself. What was most impressive to you about Mitchell Robinson in this series, Mark?
I mean, everything you hit on. I thought, kind of like I mentioned earlier a little bit, the way that he was aggressive and active in finding pockets to be available and to impact the defense. Like I thought he was incredibly good and he ran the floor really well. Like there was, I think it was in game 4, he got hit with a full court lob. Like, just small things like that. Like all of the dirty work things that I think he's needed most to be the most successful kind of all came together. Not that, I mean, he's done a lot of that all year. I think this has been easily his best year as a player.
Yep.
And yeah, I think that really was embodied by what he did in the series.
So they're going to play the Knicks, or the Knicks are going to play the Heat now moving forward. Do you have any thoughts on that series?
Uh, I'm kind of feeling Knicks conference finals, to be honest. Like sneakily, like even with well, when I was expecting the Bucks to be the team that was going to be in the second round, I really like the way that this Knicks team can match up with the Bucks. Could match up with the Bucks, I should say. Like Jalen Brunson had some awesome games against their drop coverage this year. Mitch Robb, honestly, not that he's used as a Giannis stopper or anything, but like in terms of what he brings alongside some of their length and the way that they were able to match up with him and play against Brook as well. Like I thought that was going to be a really interesting series, and I had a lot of confidence in the Knicks to make it one that goes into deep waters. But now, maybe I end up just being completely freaking wrong, and Jimmy Butler just continues to be better than Michael Jordan ever wishes he could be. But I would feel really confident about the Knicks in this series. A lot's going to depend on Julius, to be fair. Like I want to say that, like what's gone under the radar is Julius Randle, re-aggravating his ankle. He struggled this series, but a lot of it has been the ankle pretty clearly. So I wonder what that looks like. But we didn't even say this too. Like I said this on the Daily Ding tonight. The last 5 games is probably the best 5-game stretch RJ Barrett's had all year.
Yeah.
So that's massive.
What have you liked about RJ during this time?
It's the best he's looked as a passer and decision maker. Like he just has kind of let the game come to him. He hasn't forced things as much. Like, no, he's not making crazy, high field passes or anything, but he's been good with lobs. I thought he had some good connections with Mitch, some good stuff with Obi. There were a lot of moments throughout the season where he was not actively like looking for that or seeing it. And it felt like even if there were times where he wasn't fully able to just take advantage of guards, I think part of that was Darius and Donovan are both like pretty good at getting up into guys. But overall, like I just felt like he did a really good job. Obviously, he's not Jimmy, but playing in that same way of being able to be used in multiple ways, and kind of letting the game come to him. And that's not what I was able to say about him for most of this year, which is what makes this year so interesting too, because like as good as the Knicks have been, a lot of it's been in spite of RJ. Like I think he cleaned up his play quite a bit over the last month of the season, but to get to where it's at now has been completely different. And I thought the defense was really solid throughout the series. Yes. I don't think it was amazing, but I thought it was like B plus. And that is all I want from RJ, is to be somebody who is going to like, because him doing all of that unlocks so much of what brings the Knicks to that higher level.
Particularly on the ball. I thought the moments where he was switched on to Darius Garland, particularly when they switched Jalen off onto the 3-man that was a disaster for the Cavs, they tended to switch RJ onto Garland. And I thought those were the moments where the Knicks had the most success guarding Darius Garland in this series. Shout out to RJ Barrett. I think he deserves an immense amount of credit. He was really bad in the first 2 games of the series as well, I thought. And for him to bounce back, he got a lot of shit from a lot of people nationally. And he really bounced back. And I thought this is definitely the best 3-game stretch of his career for sure. I don't even think there's a question in my mind there. The last point here that I do want to bring up is just, to finish on the Mitchell Robinson side. The Cavs were a bottom 5 defensive rebounding team in the last, I believe, like third of the season since the All-Star break. And you can't be that when you're playing Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. You really just cannot be that. I think the Knicks were third maybe in offensive rebounding over the course of this post All-Star break run. And that honestly like really felt like the series in a nutshell. Like they won this series with extra possessions. They won this series by Mitchell Robinson dominating these guys in a real substantial way, right?
Well, yeah, like to be completely fair to the Knicks, like their offense was still pretty average, if we're being honest. A lot of this was just being able to absolutely wipe them on the boards and with second chance points. Like that was killer and an absolutely massive decider in this. And I will be interested to see what the Knicks offense looks like, moving forward. Because I mean, then the offense has been really good, so I'm not too worried about it. Like
Yep.
I'm pretty confident in quickly having a much better offensive series. But yeah, that was it's an adventure to look at what the final rebounding totals were.